In this video, I want to talk to you about what kind of computer you should buy. If you haven't been here before, this is Mike at MSL Computer Service. I make videos on how to maintain your computer and how to repair your computer. I teach you everything you need to know to be safe online. And this video is about some of the questions that people ask me a lot. What kind of computer should I buy? And what do I need in the computer? In other words, what hardware and what software do I need if I'm going to go and buy a computer? I had a customer today that wanted me to fix his laptop, and he spilled coffee on it, and he ended up buying a new computer, and I wasn't able to repair his computer because it would have cost too much. So I took his hard drive out and I saved all his information, and I told him what type of computer to look for. So the type of computer you want, it depends on what you're going to use it for. But basically, 2019, that's where we are now. They have something called SSD hard drive, and that's the new hard drive that's out. Everybody's had a SATA. And IDE was before that, but SATA is big and everybody has a SATA. But the new hard drive today is SSD. Now SSD hard drives work very fast. They run at 1500 RPMs, and there is no moving parts. It's a flash memory hard drive, which that's the reason why it makes it run so fast, because it's flash memory. So if you want your computer to run fast, it's going to be a good idea to get yourself a computer with an SSD hard drive. Or if you want to upgrade your computer now to a much faster computer, then you can upgrade it with an SSD hard drive. And prices have come down recently. When they first came out, they were kind of expensive, but prices have gone down a lot. Now, basically, this is what I recommend you having in a computer. You need to have at least 8 gigs of memory. Okay? 8 gigs of memory. This is the shopping list I'm going to give you. A decent video card, which is like a 2 gig video card. Decent graphics in your video card. So you want a decent video card, and you want at least 8 gigs of memory. And also, you want a decent processor. I would recommend an i3 or an i5. Quad-core processors are actually the best ones you can get. So if you want to spend around $500, $550, you will need, you will probably be able to afford a decent video card, 8 gigs of memory, and a quad-core processor, and a laptop or a desktop. And if you're a gamer, then you would want something more high-end. What I'm explaining is really just a mid-range computer. Not a low-end, not a real high-end, but the computer components I'm talking about are components that you will be able to do everything you want on the computer. And you can run games on it also. But if you want to run high-end games, then you'd want more memory and a better video card, if you understand that. So the shopping list as for an intermediate computer would be a decent video card, at least 8 gigs of memory. That's DDR4 memory. But you can just say memory 8 gigs and everybody knows what that means. And you want to have an SSD hard drive. The size isn't really that important, but it's just you need an SSD hard drive. And then you want to have, like I said, quad core is better. If you can't afford a quad core processor, get a dual core, but around $550. You can get a quad core. What does quad core mean? It means that every computer has a processor in it, okay? And virtually, a quad core means that it has 4 different cores which send and receive information. So that's the best that's out today on the market. So you'd want to get a quad core if you can. What kind of brand, what kind of case, that's really a personal preference, and it's really not that important as long as you have fans in your computer that are cooling it. If it's a laptop, you have a laptop fan built in. If it's a desktop, you want to make sure you have a good fan on the CPU and a couple case fans, because your memory gets hot, your hard drive gets hot, and your motherboard gets hot on a desktop computer. And you want to have good ventilation, and you want to have good circulation and some good fans in there. Quiet fans are the best because, if you don't want to be annoyed with a lot of noise, a lot of people don't like it, some people don't mind. But today, day and age, most of the fans that are out on the market are quiet. In some cases come with fans. So looking for a desktop, you'd be looking for a SSD hard drive, you'd be looking for a quad core processor, you'd be looking for 8 gigs of memory, and you'd be looking for a couple fans in there, good circulation, and a video card that's at least 2 gigs. 2 gigs or better. Video cards are pretty expensive, so that's why I'm trying to be on the safe side and say 2 gigs is very good. And then if you're a gamer, you would need more than 2 gigs in a video card. So that's my shopping list for a computer. And if you have any other questions, leave it in the comments. I prefer Dell. I prefer HP. Those are kind of 2 of my favorite computers. Intel makes a good motherboard, so if the motherboard's an Intel or an Asus motherboard is very good. You should also have a power supply that's at least 550 or 650 watts. Don't buy a computer with a 300 watt power supply because it's not going to have enough power if you decide to upgrade. But the specs that I told you about, you need at least a 600 watt power supply. So make sure the power supply is 600, 650 at least, and then you're in business. And then you'll have an intermediate system that'll last you and that'll run well. And you could put Windows 10 on it, which is the preferred operating system today. Either version is fine. Windows 10 Home is fine. And that's really my choice for systems. Because you got to remember, on a regular computer, there are different parts in it, and they're all made from different companies. It's not like an Apple. Apple computers, everything's made by Apple. A regular computer, PC, Windows-based computer, every single part is from a different company. So I'm not too concerned about what company makes the parts. I'm more concerned about what those parts can do for you. That's why I recommended what I recommend. So keep that in mind when you go into the store and shopping for a computer. You don't want a Celeron processor. If anybody tries to sell you a Celeron processor, if you can't afford a decent computer, those are low-grade, cheaper processors, and you won't be able to do a heck of a lot with a Celeron processor. They're okay, but they're really not that great, and you'll see a very slow difference compared to an Intel processor or an AMD processor, at least a i3, i5, or an i7. I would say i5 is good. If you can get an i5 or an i3, then you're doing okay. So, like I said, if you have any questions or any comments or any tips, leave them in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, Make sure you subscribe. I come out with videos every week on computer related issues. Computer repairs and computer maintenance is what I talk about. And thank you for coming. And I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.